Hey everybody, it's Armin. So I'm here doing a warranty job on camera. So this is Mr. Sayers. He's a long distance away. And after he got his car back home, he was like, hey, I'm starting to notice an oil drip. And I was like, oh, well, that's not good. So if you guys saw, I posted up a video of me doing a warranty job for Mr. Watson on his car. But we did that job before it even left my shop because I had to hold on to his car for some extra time. I did both of those cars side by side. They both ended up with an oil leak. And it's because I did something different in those videos. If you go watch them, I put the oil pan on last. So I will never be doing that again because it led to a front cover seal leak. So he's been driving the car. He's very happy with it aside from the oil leak. But on my dime, I had the car shipped back to us. And he's going ahead and taking the opportunity of me doing all this stuff to have us throw in a fluid damper. So I'm going to go ahead and just capture it all on video. I have a couple of specific notes regarding the fluid damper that I'm going to mention in this video. And then I will be also posting separately just the segment about the fluid damper installation because a lot of people ask me about that. So either way, it's just gonna be pretty straightforward. I already have the front end up in the air. I haven't done anything else, but it is definitely a front cover leak. So I have a warranty. I stand behind my work, and I accept that I made a mistake on this one and the other one. So either way, full transparency here. We're gonna go ahead and just get all the stuff apart, and it's gonna be just kind of like a front cover removal reinstallation job. So that's kind of it. I want to say that this was the car that I had a tensioner bolt break off on me. Another one broke. So I guess I'll have to drill that guy out or something. Alright, now that the front cover's off, I guess I need to go ahead and clean that thing up and get ready to put it back on. There's a little bit of evidence. There's a little bit of evidence of a leak over on the side here, just a touch here, but the bulk of it is coming from right here and coming out of the bottom, so that's enough reason to go ahead and reseal it. But the oil pan itself doesn't appear to be leaking. I felt around the sides there and my hands came out dry, so I'm cool with that. That's kind of it. Just gonna go ahead and play cleanup now. I'm not gonna record all that. That's a whole lot of me just reaching down in the engine bay. So we'll reconvene in just a moment. Okay, I've finished all of the cleanup. I will show you what I cleaned up. So obviously cleaned up the front cover. I knocked out the seal. The seal I usually just replace out because we spray these things down with brake clean. I don't want any early degradation of the seal, so I'm gonna replace that out with a new one. I sprayed off the front of this. Notice that it's kind of dingy, but it is clean. There's nothing actually on here. It was dingy when we got it from the junkyard, and the only way to get this thing to look nice again would be to probably, like acid dunk it or something. But we'll throw a new seal into this guy. Let's do that right now. I may have mentioned in previous videos that I just came out with a Duratec crank seal and VBT seal installer tools. The VBT sealer, I hadn't announced that they were done yet, but they're done now. Those are just getting thrown in with every one of my kits now. But they make the installation a hell of a lot easier because you can actually do this in car or in engine bay or assembled or whatever, or not. So like right now I'm doing it just front cover by itself, but I put a relief cut in it. That way it fits over the crankshaft. So you could do it in engine bay if you wanted. So we're gonna take that, just gonna put her on there, line it up, give it a couple of taps. Hold on, that's not down all the way. Yeah, that's flat. All right. Now let's pull the camera and show you the cleanup I did. Where's my light? There we go. So front cover all cleaned up. Obviously I made a mess down at the bottom. That's going to get cleaned out when I reassemble. I'll take this thing outside and I'll pressure wash all that down there out. But that's the stupid bolt that we're going to have to extract right there. So I'm going to have a blast with that. I guess now is probably as good as a time as any. After I put the front cover on, I'll try to drill it out, drill it into failure, because it's a lower grade steel bolt, so I should be able to drill it out pretty easily. And then we'll just verify the threads are good and go from there. All right, we're going to take a small pause. I have a phone call I need to get. Okay, we've finished putting on the front cover. I've cinched down all of the bolts. I'm gonna let this dry for 24 hours and then we're gonna continue reassembly. What you just saw me do is I dropped in my TDC indicator, my long 1/4 inch extension, and then I backed out the TDC pin by about 2 threads. And what that allows me to do is I threaded in my new bolt. You saw I just had my new OEM bolt. I went ahead and threaded that guy in, and I very gently rotated it over until it tapped the pin, and then I jerked it backwards to back it out. I unthreaded it by hand, and just in case there's any backwards movement, we're still past TDC, and then rolling that pin in, once it bottoms out, then you know you're stopped. And I used that 1/4 inch extension just to verify visually that it moves as I expect. So we're set at TDC now. Tomorrow we'll be able to reassemble all the rest of this and then see about extracting that stupid bolt. All right, it's been about 24 hours. Front cover should be nice and dry right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and commence to tightening all of those bolts down so we can get our fluid damper installed. So today we're going to be installing a fluid damper on this car, so I want to demonstrate how we do it. Company 23 makes a tool that is intended for use on Subarus for their fluid damper installations, and it works for us. However, it comes with spacers and it comes with bolts, but the bolts that are included are different than what we need. So you have to pick up some 5/16 by 24 1-inch long bolts. I'm going to start offering these tools for anyone who wants to buy one of these fluid dampers. You can also pick one of these tools up. We'll include the correct hardware. Also, the hardware doesn't fit exactly. Let's see, hold on. The little spacer pieces don't fit exactly inside of the fluid damper opening. So you'll notice that I cut the top of this off. See? And that's because these spacers are too big. I'm going to see about 3D printing something so I can include it in my kits. That way, I don't send you a kit that you need to shave them also. That's kind of silly. So we're gonna go ahead and get our fluid damper out. So here we have our fluid damper. What you'll notice is that we have 3 threaded holes, 1, 2, and 3, but then we have an extra hole here. So the fluid damper logo needs to be upside down for proper installation, because this is the hole that you bolt into the front cover. So we'll be using our typical M6 to thread in. So what we're gonna have to do is actually install this with our alignment bolt into the engine bay, because we have no access to put this guy in after the fact, which kind of sucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this guy in there. Let's go ahead and set our torque. So we have the, I have the steel pin that goes in the side to hold the crank in position. And what I've found is it's actually strong enough to hold back your, your initial torque. So we're gonna go ahead and set that now. Helps put a bolt in, of course. So with the torque completed, we're gonna go ahead and remove all of the timing holding hardware. All right, we're going to remove all the timing holding hardware so we can get the crank into a position where this can be installed in sort of an upward position where it's easy for us to grab it. So let me go ahead and struggle to get this all apart now. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my crank bolt now so we know just how far we're going. So now the tricky part. So in the kit, we've got bolt. The spacer needs to point towards the outside, as I mentioned, I believe. And then there's a spacer, and the spacer also needs to point towards the outside, like that. Now, if you have trouble holding them together, you can try tightening it down just slightly by spinning the screw. It'll pull it in a little bit. Otherwise, you can just throw a dab of RTV or glue or whatever on there. Just something not too sticky. Yeah, actually, I lost one of the little black pieces in someone's engine bay, so my luck. Okay, now this is the struggle part. I have to make sure that all this goes in the correct orientation, otherwise it's not going to thread in. So struggle with me for a moment. All right, so I've got it installed. Let's take a look.
Had a missed call. Sarah Walker.
So what I've got here is I've got the tool installed. All the bolts are flush down. You want to make sure they're flush down, otherwise you're going to have a problem. It's rigid. You can't tell I'm wiggling it up here. It's not moving. Okay, so all three of those bolts are snug down. You can see my mark here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place a mark on the tool here. You can see where my last one was. I'm going to place a mark on the tool here because obviously I can't see down into the hole very easily. And this will make it a little easier for me to torque against. All right, so we're at a stopping point for just now. I had attempted to drill out the broken bolt, but it looks like I don't have enough room to even drill it out. So I either need to make more room or weld. So we're gonna go ahead and try to weld a nut, get it to back out. I'll fight with that for the rest of the day. Meanwhile, all the relevant stuff is done on this, so we'll just cut to the part where I'm continuing to reassemble and firing it up. All right, so things have escalated. We got the car up on the lift. We took the radiator and the condenser assemblies out because I tried drilling it, had no access to get a bigger drill in here, and then I welded a nut on the front, it snapped off the front. I welded a nut in the back, it snapped the back off. So here we are, we drilled it out, retapped it, M8 by 1.25. Seth has a new bolt over there. We're gonna install that. So now I've got the tensioner in here with 2 bolts. We made sure we cleaned them off. They went in without much effort and they're nice and tightened down. Then I aligned this up. So you'll see I have this visually aligned with the hole to the alignment pin behind it. And then we have aligned the sensor onto the 5th tooth. So at this point, I've got other things that I needed to actually be tending to. So I'm gonna have Seth complete the reassembly of this, then we'll burp the coolant. I turn my back for just a moment and Seth gets the whole car back together. The coolant's bled, the AC's filled, so there's nothing to see here. He reassembled it all.
And oil.
Oh yeah, and he's doing the oil change, so I guess we'll just show you firing it up here in a second. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Mr. Sayers. Hope you enjoy the new Fluidampr.